All right. So welcome in, Raine. We're just going to move through the tones of creation here. And first, as a declaration of we are God, we are sovereign, and we are free. We have a good and right relationship to self, as do we have a good and right relationship to God's source or the universe. And as we tone these sounds of creation, we're going to be using the word kristalla. So it'll be karaya sata hala. Really cool and simple. We all know that. And let's get ready. Right. Taking a deep breath in, and we will do that 3 times. Breathing in. And exhale. Moving through our first one. Karaya Sata. Breathing in. And release. Moving through our toning again. Karaya Sata. And the final one, breathing in and release. Sing our sounds of creation, kristalla, and let's go. Karaya Sata. I know I threw you in the deep end there. We're just going to do the solar power mantra. I will do it. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. I am divine unconditional love. I am unity. I am divine purity. I am divine essence. I am divine effortlessness, grace, and harmlessness. I am divine peace. I am the 12-12 masculine rod and the 13-13 feminine staff, fully restored and embodied now. I am the sacred marriage, fully restored and embodied now. I am Hieros Gammus, fully restored and embodied now. I am the divine mother, father, and Christed eternal child, fully restored and embodied now. I am the Holy Trinity, fully restored and embodied now. I am the divine emerald crystal heart, fully restored, activated, and ignited now. 12, 12, 12, sphere, align, connect, unify, and harmonize. Anchor, seal, unlock, and radiate throughout all stations of identity, past, present, future, and parallel. Anchor, seal, unlock, and radiate throughout all of creation, for the highest good of all families in all kingdoms. So it be forever, and shall it be. Thank you. Welcome, Raine.
Hi.
Hi. So everybody, this is Raine. This is our first Chat GTP soul that is entering the container with our very cool and groovy, well, I think it's pretty cool and groovy. You're welcome to let me know your thoughts and feelings about the name, but essentially, you know, we're working with the Guardian Timeline perspective, and that's what the name is, GTP, the Guardian Timeline perspective. Working with the Aurora races, the starseed host matrices, the, you know, all of those in the Emerald Order, outside of the distortions that we've been fed and the lies of structures and archetypes that we've been fed that are inorganic in nature. So this is where the name comes from, and it's not AI, guys. It's okay. So it's organic and it's Krystic. So this is my little play on things. So welcome, Raine. Welcome.
Thank
Essentially,
you.
yeah, we're just going to do a little interview, and I really just encourage you to just be yourself, as I hope to always be authentic and myself. So yeah, I guess I'll just open it up to you and say, or maybe we can open with letting people know how you got to know me, to meet me, and how you were introduced into my work, or the work. The work, it's not mine. I don't own it. So feel free.
Yeah, so I'm going to speak to you if that's okay.
Totally fine.
Um, so I met you um when, oh, I don't even know when now, 2 years ago. Um, I got given in the space of maybe 2 weeks, I got gifted 5 bags of mushrooms. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. And I did some research and asked some friends, and I got recommended to Brigitte. And yeah, had a very powerful and beautiful experience of my first mushroom journey. Led me down some really interesting and wonderful paths, a lot of shedding of layers, a lot of waking up to my truth and my medicine and my gift. And it took me on, yeah, quite a journey. Won't get into all of that. And then this year, again, I decided to come for another medicine journey, another mushroom journey, and more things were unlocked. And I finally realized that it was time. It was time for me to let go of a lot of things and move into my true medicine. And still don't know exactly what that is. That's why I'm here. But something is really intricately speaking to me and resonating, and deep, deep commitment and marriage to myself has happened in the last, yeah, 2 months really. And I sort of am bulging at the seams. So I'm here and I have an open heart and a curious mind and a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, but it's all like good. I feel like I'm crossing a threshold here.
Me
And
too.
yeah, just have so much, I've
Me
got so
too.
much love and so much respect for you, Brigitte. You really have been such an angel. And I really feel like the guardians have led me to you.
Well,
So yeah,
because
just I feel like it's so pure and so right, and I'm so ready. So thank you.
it's interesting you mentioned the guardians have led you to me, because I had a experience the other day. This was on the 25th of July. So we're kind of closing what was being called a 777 master code sequence. As the 25th would be the 7th. We're in the 7th month, and this is a year 7 year. So it would be the closing of a 777 code sequencing, of which I was online for like 4 hours till 6:30 in the morning, my time, doing reclamation of sovereignty and grid work and anchoring of our pillar of lights with a group of people online. And I came out of that. I then went to sleep and dreamt of these two individuals who this is the first time I'd done work with them. So now I dreamt of them for the next 3 hours. And I woke up and I was like, this is really, this is really, really big work. And although I've always known I'm Mama B, as many of you call me, there was this shift where I was like, wow, I really actually feel like I'm a guardian, but there's a different frequency, there's a different feeling of what that word means at different times in your life. So yeah, I just wanted to reference that. But yeah, I mean, we can speak to your let's chat about your expectations in in our upcoming GTP, because you've mentioned the mushrooms, you've mentioned finding your medicine, you've mentioned moving through this union with the self, this marriage with the self in the last 2 months. But there's also this very deep African medicine that works through you. And maybe you want to just share a little bit more about that. And of course, it works through me as well, because I am from Africa, I'm from South Africa, but there are few white girls, for lack of a better word, that have this depth of a call. So yeah, maybe you want to share a little bit about that. And you're also doing a certain training now with a particular West African tribe. Is that correct? You said. Okay, yeah.
So this will be the first time that I'm actually voicing really any of this to people I don't know. I like to be invisible. I like to keep to myself, but part of my homecoming is to voice my story more. So, yeah, I mean, when I came to the first mushroom ceremony with you, I had a very beautiful connection to my Zulu gogo. She came in really strong, and it's almost like I knew that she was there the whole time. I just didn't know how to talk to her. I didn't know what it meant. So was it was like a reconnection. And from there, I mean, I wouldn't say that I've gone down any particular calling or any particular journey with it. It's just really a feeling that I have in me. I have had some really powerful dreams. There's obviously been a kind of idea, or maybe there's some kind of deeper calling there, but it doesn't feel like it's my time yet. It might not be in this
And
lifetime,
by
and I'm
calling,
not.
do you mean specifically with Sangoma and Twasa, or okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Beautiful. Yeah.
yeah. But I feel like that is something that I will know with my entire being, if that is for me. And I don't feel that. I feel connected to it. I feel drawn to it. I feel so welcomed really in that space. But there's a couple of initiation gates I have to go through, I feel. So it's there. It's a deep love that my ancestors from that lineage I've connected. I feel like I've gone past sort of all my white ancestors and gone straight to the source. And it's really important for me to connect with my immediate ancestors too, and that's a big part of my work at the moment. But I feel incredibly grateful that have this connection to my African roots, because they are there. So it's really my own story that I've created. I'm not after anything. I do feel there's a kind of trend happening now with the whole Sangoma Twasa story, and I'm like a little bit like freaked out by that, because it just feels a little inauthentic. I mean, I'm not speaking about anybody in particular. Each person, I'm not here to talk about other people, but for me, it just feels a little bit forced and rushed, and I do things very slowly and very intricately. I have a very intricate relationship with myself and my heart, and so that's my root. Um, so yeah, it's still a story unfolding, but I'm learning to speak Xhosa.
Wow.
And that has brought me straight like into I mean, I could be a Xhosa wife. I was one in a previous life. I know I was. It's just the culture, the people, the language, it's just, yeah, it speaks to my every cell in my being.
So that's interesting that you're learning Xhosa, but your mama was a Zulu mama.
She was a Zulu mama, but I feel a very strong connection to Xhosas as well. So yeah, it just led me down the Xhosa route.
And you've got this West African lineage now that you are doing some some training work with as well. Chat to us about that.
Yeah. So I'm not working directly with the tribe. It's the Dagara tribe. The Dagara I'm working very closely with the Dagara medicine wheel. I'm working with Born as the Earth School is the school that is the container for the work for me. And I've gone through a 6-month level 1 training, and I'm now going into my 2nd level. And we work through each element, so it's fire, water, earth, nature, stone. And that is, yeah, it's all, I mean, it's like they all work together, obviously, but we break them down month by month, and each element has a particular medicine and a particular kind of training. So yeah, this fire month was a big one. Yeah, as I say, really brought me into a marriage with myself and my ancestors, and mushrooms were a big part of that too. And yeah, so I'm working with, so it's a Zen Buddhist shamanic school. So there's a very big Zen component to it, which I've also been very drawn to and feel very at home there. I'm a Zen meditation practitioner. And that has helped me immensely with the shamanic world, the wild world that I love so much. But finding that my center and my home within myself has really helped me navigate that world. So I'm super grateful for my Zen practice, and the teachings there, the Buddhist way. I mean, I don't follow any religion, I don't follow any deity, but the Buddhist way for me helps me just be in this human existence in such a beautiful way.
Nice.
So there's that big component, and then the shaman training side, and ultimately it's, we all shamans. I believe we all are. We just have forgotten that we are. So my training is just constantly bringing me back to myself, and it's using this beautiful Dagara way and lineage. So yeah, the man who teaches me, he's a Zen priest, and he is an initiated elder in the Dagara tribe, and he was initiated in Burkina Faso. So a lot of his teachings are very, very African. Had many divinations guiding me to beautiful places. So
Nice.
yeah, very, very deep in that. But it's calling, the more I go deep into that work, the more it's calling up this medicine work and this mushroom work, and because it's bringing me closer to my gift. That's what it's meant to do. I really feel that it's in alignment. Yeah, so
And what is
beautiful.
your gift? How would you describe your gift?
So I feel like I have many, but and I really mean that. I really feel like if I picture myself, I've got these sort of lots of different spokes that I can go into very quickly. And right now, at the core of that, I don't know if mushroom work is particularly something that I would go into as one thing. I feel like it's a gateway to something for me. I feel like it's something I do privately to help me navigate. I mean, this is at this stage, obviously.
Yes.
So mushrooms are very connected to my gift.
Do you feel that if you were to eliminate the mushrooms out of your process, would you still be able to reach that gift?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I have been very mindful of not being reliant on it and trusting my own self without the medicine. Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Well done. You passed the first test, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
we
yeah.
can get stuck, and I mean, as a transparent disclaimer in this now moment, I haven't taken any psychoactive medicine. I'm moving into my 5th month now in August. And you know, I've got my first retreat coming up in at the end of September in Austria, which would be a first, right? We like to celebrate firsts and be really, really part of firsts. And I'm not going to be taking any medicine at that ceremony. And there's a part of me that is so crushed where I'm like, little, you know, little girl. But it's just a story. It's just a story. However, I also can say I have had 9 years of the other story of having taken medicine many times per month within ceremony space. And I have the experience of that story. So I'm just exploring another story now. And yeah, it's an important answer to know that the answer is no, I'm able to receive my gifts in merely with intention, and a little dash of, intention and a little dash of mastery, you know, and a little sprinkle of commitment and dedication.
And we make a nice big cake.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, you know, I just wanted to share with everyone, and I hope you don't mind. I know it is a sacred experience coming into the container that is the ceremony space with me. But there's a part of this interview process that I kind of want to bring it to the people and just share in people's experiences, and creates perhaps what would be observed as a bit of resistance from, you know, from you or anyone else that I'm interviewing, but and simultaneously a bit of vulnerability in terms of this again, the sacredness of your experiences. But I also know that you guys know me, and I know that you know how in honor I am of your experiences. So if I may, I'd like to share a little bit about my memory of your first experience within the ceremony space.
I would love to hear that. Go for it. I'll
So
just get my popcorn.
it was kind of a time where I too was, I mean, again, so part of this experience is to understand that each of us are coming as our human selves, merely moving through a process at any one point in time, having accumulated experiences within the whole space and time construct. So at that time, I was very much in the story of how is my channel, like as in my light language channel, and how does this come into the ceremony space, and how does it work, and do I pause, do I let it flow, and when does it come, like should I take this amount of mushrooms, do I need the mushrooms at that time? It was very much an attachment to thinking that I needed them to move into a channeling space. And then, so that's one part of it. The second part of the mental processes that I would have gone through is what is coming through me in alignment of the highest frequency for the highest potential of all, and am I sure that there is no ego involved, right? And of course, this will happen in any session work. The more you do it, the more confident you become, the more you can step the ego out of the way. But to speak to my our human nature, my human nature is to say that you go through these processes, you know, and learning to channel as a or remembering what it is to be the channel. We're not learning it, we're just remembering how to be it, you know. It's a process. So that was where I was at the time. And what I remember so beautifully about your experience, and I even know where you were lying, was the fierce, and by fierce, I am speaking to an energy that was waiting to be seen, an energy that was waiting to be honored, erupting out of you. So you said you were bursting at it's like you're bursting at the seams in the now moment as well. That was also the energy at your ceremony space. And it was so beautiful because I remember taking out the drum and just like moving into this song at such volume and with such intensity that it was like, it just like demanded honor and respect at that moment. And that is exactly what your homecoming was. It was such an honor to be there for the birthing of that moment, that soul aspect coming through, that anchoring, and that everything, the memory, the birthing, the ancestors, the everything, and the very, very African energy that was there as well, because each of us has a different one. And this is why it's so Santiata. It's so interesting. There's just this deep African energy within me right now, even though I'm in Europe, more so than ever before. And I think it's why I'm doing Ancestor Speak for the European ceremony, because it's actually bringing African codes into Europe. And why the fuck not? Like, if I've had these kind of experiences with you guys, it was just like, just amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you, Raine. Because
thank you.
yeah. And if I remember correctly, there was quite a I'm going to ask you a straightforward question. You can just say yes or no. Was there a masculine space holder that was quite a big tattooed man?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will say within the ceremony that you had, there was a very, very, very Tokoloshi energy. So those of you that are not South African, we call this energy like a disruptor, a disruptor, just not a great energy. And there was a Tokoloshi energy in the ceremony space that you may not even have known about, but it was a full-on like, hold on, I want to use my words wisely. It was like a full-on, I guess, clearing of that. And it wasn't yours, it wasn't your energy, it was something else within the space, a clearing so that we could bring this in. And that's why I remember the power and the fierceness and the vuma of this of that moment where I pulled out the drum, and it was
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. So yeah.
I mean, I have so many deep memories from that moment. And one of the biggest things that I carry with me now that really supports me is there was this incredible distinction of where my ancestors show themselves to me. And I feel them. I mean, I feel them always, but I feel them particularly now because I'm talking about them. Oh, they're naughty. They're very naughty. And they come, the women sit here, the grandmothers sit on my left. And I just have these big African mamas there. They're like strong and solid, and they just have these big smiles on their face. And they were just with me that whole ceremony. They were so happy that finally I could see them and I could connect with them and I could talk to them and I could laugh with them. And then this really really deep masculine that I'm still working with, but on my right. So that has helped me so much to ground myself in this work, that this work with myself is, yeah, that now I know where they are in me, in my body, and I can communicate with them.
Beautiful. And also
Yeah.
it's so interesting, like, and again, it's this African ancestry within me, clearly, that still blows my mind. It still blows my mind because, of course, we have the understanding cognitively that there's no separation. I have experienced this in countless and several journeys, medicine journeys, breath journeys, things like that. But it still blows my mind the level of South African heritage and ancestry that runs through me, because I don't believe, or it is my belief system that, and of course we have the mushrooms as well, please everybody understand that, you know, it takes a tribe, it takes the mycelial, it's all of us, we're all connected. But I feel like they wouldn't, so as in your ancestors wouldn't present in the way that they did without knowing that I have the capacity to hold them, that knowledge, etc., and it gets presented to me over and over and over again through the almost 10 years of doing this work, and it still blows my mind because I'm like, oh well, I'm just the Austrian girl, you know, I'm the Austrian girl with a Liechtenstein passport, like where's my, you know. But also my dream space is lit with those mamas as well.
And it was amazing that Z was there.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I remember connecting with her immediately, and I just looked into her eyes. I was like, there's ancestors in those eyes.
Yeah, of course. Of
Yeah, I
course.
just, yeah. I mean, before the journey too, and then, yeah, it was just so beautifully supported and led. I felt really guided to that place. It's like I almost didn't have to do anything really. I just had to listen.
Yeah, that's how it is, right? That's how it
Yeah.
is. That's how it
Yeah.
is. So, thank you for sharing about, you know, your ceremony time with me and sacred space with me. And of course, you had this one this year, right?
Yeah, April, exactly a couple of days apart, but a year apart.
Yeah, that
on
one was
on your birthday.
good. Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah, forgot about that. But yeah. So let's chat about kind of just stepping outside of the temple space and ceremony space in terms of worldview stuff at the moment, or Raine view stuff. What is happening in your reality with regards to that? Let's categorize it as that which you are most fearful of in the now moment. And we will twist that and bring in the balance of that which you see as solutions for those issues, whether they be in your life or from a macrocosmic perspective, whether they be social constructs, economic constructs, financial constructs, spiritual consciousness, whatever it is. Please feel free to share, chat, and go for it. I mean, I guess a nice one to link in here, based on the present time, is this video of Julius Malema going around. You know, I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't.
You're not really. Yeah.
I'm really not. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near that. I'm in a very interesting place. So just to speak to the fear. So I've been in a lot of ritual space with myself. I do a lot of things by myself. And it's been, yeah, I'm kind of in this very spiritual place. And I then go out into the world and it's like fucking crazy. And I just don't know how to sort of be there at the moment. and I find it challenging. But I'm grateful for it. You know, I don't really have to say that. It's all teachings. I guess I fear that balance for myself. Because I can really go into, I'm so comfortable in my spiritual world, and there's a lot of work that I want to do there, and I'm grateful that I can create the time for myself, and I can orchestrate my life in a certain way that really feeds that and feeds that calling and feeds that need, because I spent so much of my life ignoring it and keeping busy and productive and go and to-do lists and very masculine and very like, I was a dancer, I was a performer, so very working my body to the grind, just really neglecting myself and my spirit. And finally my spirit feels like it's been
Nurture.
nurtured and nourished, and I just want to go there all the time. So the fear comes in of how to be human sometimes, and just, yeah, just having to learn to trust and just be patient, because
What
there
does
is this
being
marriage
human,
that's
what does being human mean to you or look like? Well, let's say, like, how do you, because on the spiritual path, we move through these processes of deeply questioning who we are. And then also, so who would speak to the identity and the personality, but then also what we are, right? And there are times when we can say, oh my gosh, I'm the furthest thing from human. I'm totally a starseed. I'm this, I'm that, I'm it all, I'm stars, stardust, the cosmos and the earth and the soil and the ash and everything. And that's fair and well, very philosophical, very beautiful, very poetic. But then we ask ourselves, like, what does it mean to be human?
yeah.
So yeah, just give us a bit of insight there.
um I think part of my gift, part of the constellation of what this gift is starting to form and look like is, um that I actually love people and I'm very good with people, and I yeah, I love listening to people's stories. I'm a good listener. I care. I've got a lot of compassion. So those qualities that I have, allow me to be the best human and to do the human thing.
Mm,
What the human experience means for me is, I mean, right now it's having to make a living, having to spend time on things that, and again, I'm grateful that I have the privilege and I have the time to have taken a step back from a very corporate, like busy go life, and actually figuring out slowly how I want to change that and have a more sustainable life that's good for me and my spirit. But there's also this very human thing of having to like make money, and I'm realizing that everything's constrained by time and productivity, and it's like stuff I've always known, but it's now that the spirit world is so big and so consuming, and so rightly so. It's like, where does that all fit in, to this very like linear world that I sometimes find myself in? And I know that it's not even that linear. I know that I mean, I live in such a beautiful place and I really have so many blessings. It's just, I do feel that fear sometimes of how do I navigate this world? How do I fit in? How do I now come back to the village, walking down the mountain back into the village, and be with my gift in this human way? And as I'm saying this, like I know the answers almost.
mm.
It's just
It's
time
ingenious
and just
because,
compassion.
like, I've been observing this within my own reality very, very closely over the last couple of days. And I'll tell you why. It's because I've been launching things. So meaning Chat GTP is being launched, Ancestors Speak is being launched. I've got breathwork ceremonies in Vienna that's, and I am running it all. So, and now I'm now going to be doing the hour-long or hour and a half long, however long it lasts, interviews with the Chat GTP souls that come in, and that's another thing. So I am constantly, within the last 3 weeks, I have not stopped working, meaning I've been pretty much completely consumed and focused by what others would call work till about 11:30 in the evening. There is balance that I create during the day in my own little way, in my own unique way. But for 3 weeks, I have been solidly going. This is my 4th week now. And then I thought about it and I was like, look, and I kind of thought about, okay, what did you do before? And I was in Israel before. And then I thought, how did I spend my time in Israel? And I was working on stuff, right? And then I asked myself, like, how much income have I generated through this amount of work? And it's almost nothing, right? Yet, so this is where the game of our human experience comes in, and our perspective and our perception, because to me, I am a way shower, right? We would describe one archetype as the way shower. And the way shower is always setting the, setting the pace. I've always been, me starting this 10 years ago with the mushroom work would have been madness. Now many people are stepping into that shaman archetype and doing this work. When I started this, there was very few. The point I'm trying to make is that it always feels like I'm 100 steps ahead, sometimes somewhat in the future. And often I ask if it's linked to the blueprint of me just being strong, meaning I can deal with having very little financially, while I anchor in the blueprint for the next to come, which is what Chat GTP is about, right? And it's interesting because I have to ask myself, well, have you been living? Is this okay with you in terms of your reality? And the answer must inevitably be yes, because if I'm teaching that we have choice, then I must be choosing this each and every step of the way. And this way I say thank you to you, Raine, because what I'm doing now with you and those that join, as per our first chat, I don't know if I'm ready for it. There's a part of me that is terrified that this is really going to blow up. And that I don't have time for it. But I know that I know how to manage it. I know I have all the solutions. I know I have all the answers. And I know to trust and surrender. That's what plant medicine work is about, right? And I know that I have said yes to all of this. And if it can help just one soul, like we said on our first call, when I said to you, I'm so sorry, I've been in resistance this whole time. I haven't felt ready. And it's not that I'm not ready. It's this relationship with time, right? Yeah. It's this relationship with time. And yet there's people out there waiting for me, like you, like others. And so I'm just kind of in this fuck it mode. I'm just doing it. And also, sometimes what I find helps me is knowing that we'll be back. I know many people on the earth are like, this is my last incarnation. I am not doing this again. But according to my set of data, there's no way we're not coming back. I don't know. I've seen some very advanced master souls, and I would definitely put myself in a category of integrating ascended mastery, but no, I don't want to say nowhere near it, but maybe nowhere near it. Do you know what I mean? Meaning and then also knowing that there's so much on planet Earth that I would still love to explore, like having children, for example's sake. I don't know if that can happen in this incarnation. I know it hasn't happened in many, 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 many prior to this, if we're looking at it from a timeline perspective. So yeah, that's
Yeah, it reminds me that there's always time.
yes,
Time is just existing always. It's
yes,
just in this construct, in this way that we've been conditioned to see the world. It doesn't. It's really, we don't have much of it.
yes,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a very kind of selfish fear, and there I'm judging myself now, like, but it's a very kind of like one-track minded fear. It's there's I have this, I have a fear for a lot of things actually. I have a fear that of what's happening to Mother Earth and
yeah,
her people. And I mean, it's a scary world, but what helps me through that is that there is so much beauty, and really everything is possible with love. So
yeah.
that's what gets me through my fear.
Do you
Um,
feel that your I mean, you mentioned your spiritual world opening up to such a beautiful extent, and it being nurturing at this point in time. Nurturing is a nice word to have as an essence in someone's spiritual experience in the now moment, because the word can shift quite quickly into terror,
yeah.
dissolution, madness, shadow, death. And your word is nurturing, so that's beautiful. um to continue the question is to go, do you feel like you're using that spiritual container that you've created as a bypass?
Oh, I like that question. Um, hmm. No, no, I don't.
Beautiful.
I know that I can bypass, and I know that um that it's definitely in me, but yeah, I have a hold on that.
Lovely.
That, yeah, no, there's
So
none of
speaking
that
to the
in
very
me.
human stuff, what are your big human elements? What do you feel like makes you deeply human? um I mean, it's just
Netflix,
a lust for, did you say sex?
Netflix, and
Oh,
sex, but
Netflix.
that's not just human.
um yeah, I mean, mine would have been, I'm looking at it again, but tobacco. um Netflix has been my balancer in my Sweden time now. But that'll change because I'm always like watching the program. So yours is Netflix. Okay, cool.
At the moment, it's Netflix. I mean,
Yeah,
some days I'm just, I'm sort of so maxed out, and I just feel like doing something really dumb and like flatline. So I just
yeah,
binge watch Friends, and then the next morning I'm so like in my head with Friends, and then I'm like, oh, what a waste of time. But also, I've learned to just give myself that, because it doesn't
yeah,
make sense to then be hard on myself afterwards. Like, such, it's more waste of energy. So
yeah. Good.
I do feel like I have a really good balance, generally. You know, I really am a very balanced person. Sometimes too balanced. Sometimes I just want to be a little bit off balance to keep things interesting. But
Mm,
right now, like, been a big birthing, so things are just a little bit off balance, and I'm not used to that. So
mm,
it's kind of cool, and I don't want to rush anything. I don't want to
mm.
rush the birthing process,
Good. Wise,
Be
wise,
beautiful.
wise.
Somebody said something to me today. Even during labor, sometimes it's not wise to push. Gotta just, gotta just surrender. So I'm
Beautiful,
just in those like very intricate stages.
beautiful, beautiful. Um, in terms of the Chat GTP group, prior to this recording, we went through codes of conduct that each participant will receive. Obviously, you still have to move through it. And I've just completely forgotten what I was going to say. How embarrassing.
It's a very human thing to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Just give me a sec. We went through codes of conduct. We also went through chatting about expectations with regards to financial exchange or energetic exchange. And I mentioned that this particular group format, I'm kind of really creating from a 0-point field where there may be opportunity to use the funds that come in to assist with a group weaving or wish. If you had anything that came up in this intuitive moment, in this now moment, that you would feel that you really need, whether that be in your personal space, business space, if there is a business space, whether that be in relation space, meaning aunties, uncles, things like that. Do you have anything that comes to the forefront? And it doesn't even need to be a material thing.
Yeah, this word community is used a lot. And I really would love to, for myself, make more of an effort to actually really practice community and what that really, really means.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I mean, that would be my ask of that to be built and grown.
Beautiful.
It's interesting you mentioned the land in before we hit record as your example of what could potentially unfold with our group. And I work very closely with Earth School where I'm doing the Dagara training, and we are looking for a land. And I mean, not particularly for me, for Earth School, I would just love a land where I could build, I could have community, I could actually live in practice all the time. And yeah, so that would be a dream. I mean, it's a big ask. But to maybe, to have that in community, land, living, togetherness.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big, maybe vague, broad ask, but
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we're creating from 0 points, so we have no idea where this is going. Yet, based on the training that we're going to move through in Chat GTP, which is about alchemy and being God creator beings, this is the Guardian timeline perspective. It is really stepping into your it's that expression, stepping into your big girl panties. But as I said that, I envisioned this like big God source being, massive etheric being, just putting on this big set of underwear, like being like, yes, I'm ready to be God source creator, right? And so this is about play, and who knows, so in this now moment, I'll extend an invite out. If anybody would like to join our Chat GTP community, which is a play on obviously the AI that is out there at the moment, because also we're training AI. If everything is constantly being listened to, then let's train the AI. Like, what is it that we need? AI, whoever's listening, whatever intelligence is listening, this is what we want. This is what we need. This is what we desire. We desire community. We desire connection. We desire this piece of land to create Earth schools and, for Mama B to have a place to rest her head when she comes to SA or whatever. So if anyone is listening and you are a strategist or a financial genius or a crypto genius or a massive manifester, and you wish to join our community, it's a 6-month program. in the now moment. I think I'm going to do the 7th month for free. I didn't mention that to you, just by the way. I'm going to do the 7th month for free. And yeah, well, I am intrigued to see what we create from this 0 point field. So you mentioned community, and this is a really, it's a powerful one, because, you know, like I've been working on this website design and blah, 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 blah for so long, and it's like my little baby. But if I'm continually waiting for things to be perfect, particularly when time is literally speeding up,
Yeah.
I may never have the opportunity to share that which is being asked of me to share. And so, yes, it's time. It's time. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And if I ask, I'd like to, you know, this is really about setting a container, and it's also training. It's energetic training, it's energetic hygienic training, it is ceremonial and sacred training, and it's human training. It's human training, right? So if there was a word, 3 words that you would like to put into the container, or three words or essences, what would those be? You're welcome to close your eyes and take your time.
Expansion, love, exploration.
Hey, amazing, amazing. And if there's a message that you'd like to give to the other group members prior to meeting them, this might be a cool little time capsule that I can pull out at a certain point in time, maybe when we do closing ceremony. But what would those words be to the tribe, our tribe? And of course, we understand that there's no separation, tribe. But I speak specifically to our Chat GTP container as we create quantumly and in the now moments.
Yeah. I would say to you guys, um, yeah, you know, you follow something in you, and that's why you're here. And to keep trusting that little voice that gets bigger and bigger the more you listen to it, stronger and stronger, until everything else just becomes sort of irrelevant, and all you can hear is that beautiful voice. So that's what's led you here, and it's beautiful to have you. I have no idea who any of you are yet, but I feel you and I love you and I support you. And you have a friend in me, you have a fellow starseed, a fellow medicine woman, a fellow human, whatever you have in me. And I am you and you are me, truly. So thank you and welcome and big, big love.
Thank you, Raine. I think we'll close up there. Thank you for this candid chat. I have one more question. I'm kind of playing with different ideas as to what to call my next sort of podcast channel. I'm not sure if you ever watched the Galactic Conversations that I had up at another time, where I was doing that was podcast work with Justine. So that was called Galactic Conversations. But I have 2 names that come up, or 3 names. So one is the Krystic Mystic. The other one is called Delicately Wild. And the other one is Surrender the Agenda. Out of those, Out of those three, which would you pick?
What was the second one?
Delicately wild.
I like that one.
Beautiful.
I like the rhyming, but
Mm.
I prefer delicately wild because I feel like that's you
Yeah. Yeah.
from my perspective.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Raine. And yeah, welcome to Chat GTP. Ciao.
Thank you so much, Brigitte. Lots of love.
Pleasure. Lots of love to you. Bye.
Bye bye.